There was a video that came out just a few hours ago, and it says Trump just addressed the nation. I'm assuming this is about everything going on in Iran. I have no idea if this is going to touch on anything else, like the Epstein files or anything like that. And yeah, hopefully he's going to actually address some shit. But this is going to be my first reaction to this stuff. I have not watched any of this video, so we're going to take a look at it now and see what he's got to say.
My fellow Americans, good evening.
My fellow
Hi.
Americans.
Let me begin by congratulating the team at NASA and our brave astronauts on the successful launch of Artemis 2. It was quite something.
Start with
dick.
something positive.
It will be traveling further than any manned rocket has ever flown and will very substantially pass the moon, go around it, and come back home from a distance that has never been done before. It's amazing.
Crazy to watch.
Right.
They
That
are
was
on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people. We want to God bless those four unbelievable astronauts. As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation
Epic.
Fury,
I knew it,
Yeah.
bro. I knew
targeting
I
the
should have
world's
bet on
number
it.
one state sponsor of terror, Iran.
Ooh.
In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on
He has such an interesting cadence. The way he talks and shit is so fucking funny.
overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have
Little
ever
mystic
seen
there.
before.
Nobody's seen anything like
Tonight,
this.
Iran's navy is gone.
Oh,
Their air force is in ruins.
oh.
Their leaders,
Damn,
most
bro.
of them,
Wow.
Pieces.
terrorist
Flattened, probably.
regime they led, are now dead.
Oh,
Their
Got 'em.
command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them
Damn,
left.
bro.
fuck 'em.
Never in the history of warfare
Yeah,
has an
they
enemy
got
suffered
completely,
such
totally
clear and
fucking
devastating
destroyed, I
large-scale
guess.
losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing, and America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger
He sucked
than
him
ever
off
before.
sucked himself
Never
off a
win
little
this
bit
Before
there.
discussing this current situation, I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the country of Venezuela in a matter of minutes.
Uh-oh.
That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world. And now we're working along with Venezuela and are, in a true sense, joint venture partners. We're getting along
Great.
incredibly well
Okay.
Great.
in the
That's pretty
production
cool.
and sale of massive amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserve
Production and sale of massive amounts of oil and gas. Maybe that'll change the fucking price of everything right now, because it's been fucking crazy, guys.
reserves on Earth after the United States of America.
It's been breaking my
We're
wallet.
now totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are now totally
Definitely been breaking some fucking wallets out here.
independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies.
Say that
Yeah.
to the price
Tonight, I
of
want to
new
stuff, though.
provide an update on
Nope, here we
the
go.
tremendous
Here we go.
progress our warriors have made in Iran and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety of America and the security of the free world. From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel for 47 years. Their
Wow.
proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of
was a long
hundreds of
time
our
ago.
service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack
I have a cousin who was hit by a roadside bomb. Actually, he had to be hospitalized and had a lot of issues from that, but he's okay now. But that, yeah, for real.
on the USS Cole.
It's
And
important
they
for him to say
carried
this.
out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something that most people have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will never let that happen.
Good.
And neither should
That is
any
good because people
of our
should not have
past
that kind of power,
presidents.
honestly.
This situation has been going on for 47 years and should have been handled long before I arrived in office.
Yep.
I did many things during my 2 terms in office to stop the quest for.
I honestly think the entire world should be denuclearized. I don't think that human beings should be like having this kind of like mass destruction and shit in their power, you know? It does nothing but pose a threat to entire continents of people in our entire world to have this kind of threat be shot back and forth between everybody. Honestly, it's kind of insane that we even entertain that kind of play because, I mean, obviously it's the way of the world and the way of human beings, but truthfully, like, it is going to lead to our downfall if it's something that keeps repeating for too long. Eventually, something is going to break.
Nuclear weapons by Iran first, and perhaps most importantly, I killed General Qasem
He didn't do
Soleimani
anything, but he told him to.
in my first term.
Okay.
He was an evil genius,
okay.
brilliant person.
If he's talking about the dude that they got with that drone that one time, yeah, I mean, okay. I don't think he manned the freaking drone either, but whatever. He's making the shots. He's calling the shots for sure.
Horrible human being, however, the father of the roadside bomb.
Yeah.
And he lived just horrible what he did. Iran would have been perhaps in far better, stronger position. Had he lived, we would have had probably a different conversation tonight. But you know what? We'd still be winning and winning big. And then, very importantly, I terminated Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, a disaster. Obama gave them $1.7 billion in cash, green cash. Took it out of banks from Virginia, D.C., and Maryland, all the cash they had,
DMV
flew it by
area.
airplanes in an attempt to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear bomb.
What a surprise.
His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for.
See, this is why Donald Trump does fit in the presidential role in a sense. I feel like he's doing justice to us by being like a very, very heavy-handed president. And I think that those kind of things should be repeated by other presidents if they want to actually have true success for the country and for the human race, really. It should be about America, but it should also be about human beings. And I think that there's still some pretty terrible things to be said about a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, I think I can say that good thing about Trump. And I'm not a biased person. I don't give a fuck about any of these people. Everybody that is as rich as Trump or as elite as Trump, to me, has a bunch of red flags around them because of that. Not just because look at everything we've seen with the DOJ releases and everything like that, bro. It's just too much. I don't know. These people are not the same kind of people as your day-to-day person. You know what I mean?
His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran, and they would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. Would have been a different world. There would have been no Middle East and no Israel right now, in my opinion, the opinion of a lot of great experts. Had I not terminated that terrible deal, and I was so honored to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was so bad right from the beginning. Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them. My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement. For this reason, in June, I ordered a strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities, an Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Yeah,
Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed magnificently. We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons.
Well, obviously.
They were also
good.
rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles and would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth. Iran's strategy was so obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did.
As a deterrent.
With the longest range possible, and they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out.
It's all just like a nuclear standoff, a missile standoff. Everybody's just pointing at each other. That's why I say that honestly, I know it's not going to happen. It's unrealistic. I just think all this shit should be done away with. But I don't know if we'll ever see a day where that kind of stuff actually happens. But that's my opinion on
We
that.
took them all out so that no one would really dare stop them. And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. But in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes. As I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We've done all of it. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their missiles are just about used up or beaten. Taken together, these actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it, and tonight I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are nearing completion. As we celebrate this progress, we think especially of the 13 American warriors who have laid down their lives in this fight to prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran.
He's going to say the N-word? He
Twice
just did.
this past month, I've traveled to Dover.
He's been saying that, bro.
Air
He's been
Force
saying it
Base.
over.
And it's been something. I wanted to be with those heroes as they return to American soil.
I told you guys it's going to be
them and their
bullshit,
families,
bro.
their parents, their wives.
Come on, man.
Husbands. We salute them, and now we must honor them by completing the mission for which they gave their lives. And every single one of the people, their loved ones said, please, sir, please finish the job. Every one of them. And we are going to finish the job, and we're going to finish it very fast. We're getting very close. I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE,
Shout out.
Kuwait, and Bahrain.
Shout out to Bahrain.
They've been great, and we will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form.
Good.
Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home.
There he goes.
This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers in neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict. This is yet more proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons. They will use them, and they will use them quickly.
Willy-nilly,
it would lead to
like
decades of extortion, economic pain, and instability worse than we can ever imagine. The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the
he said it, though.
last administration, and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far, with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the...
Yeah, exactly what is he eating marshmallows right now? What the fuck is going on, guys? So like
in the world by far.
Bro, is Asmongold playing the fucking chubby bunny challenge right now while the president is talking? But okay, wait, I'm getting distracted. So what I'm talking about here, like he's saying, oh, I didn't want to say this, I didn't want to say this, I didn't want to say this. Yeah, I mean, he's saying it though. What are you talking about, bro? Don't fucking I don't know. He knows what he's talking about.
Say
with no
this.
inflation,
They made him say
record-setting
this.
It's
investments coming
purposeful.
into the United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered. It's known as the nuclear Iran, and they didn't know what was coming. They've never imagined it. Remember, because of our Drill Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we're
I forgot
number
all about
one
that.
Shit
producer
should
of
start
oil and
getting
gas
less
on the planet,
expensive then,
without
right?
even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela. Because of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think of that, Saudi
What the
Arabia
fuck?
and
And
Russia
Russia
combined. And that
Wow.
number will soon be substantially higher than that. There's no country like us anywhere in the world, and we're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait, and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and in every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily.
Grab it.
We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on. So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have
Hashtag
so
ad.
much.
Yeah,
And number
he's
two,
really
build up
pushing his
some
oil
delayed
shit.
courage. Should
Wow.
have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked.
Delayed
Go to the
courage.
strait and just take it, protect it, use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially
Throw some
decimated.
balls.
The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when this conflict is over,
won't, by
the strait
the way. They won't.
will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. They're going to want to be able to sell oil because that's all they have to try and rebuild. It will resume the
it's gold,
flowing, and the
liquid
gas
gold.
prices will rapidly come back down. Stock
hope so.
prices will
That's what he's
rapidly
saying.
go back up. They haven't come down very much, frankly. They came down a little bit, but they've had some very good days over the last couple of days. We've done actually much better than I thought, but we had to take that little journey to Iran to get rid of this horrible threat. With our historic tax cuts, where people are just now talking about receiving larger refunds than they ever thought possible, they are getting so much more money than they thought. That's from the great, big, beautiful bill. Our economy is strong and improving by the day, and it will soon be roaring back like never before. It will top the levels that it was a month ago. I've made clear
Invest
from the
now.
beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved.
Yeah.
Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military
When?
objectives
Soon.
shortly, very shortly.
Soon.
Hopefully, it's
We're
soon
going
as
to
fuck.
hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going
So
to
we're
bring
weeks
them
away.
back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime,
Damn, dude.
discussions are
Damn,
ongoing. Regime change was
wow.
not our goal. We never
Damn,
said
all right.
regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their
Where they
original
belong.
leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this
So he is going to set them back industrially a very long time. He is literally going to shoot them back to the Stone Age. But that means in the future, that does mean that they can rebuild though. And that means that eventually it's going to probably have to be done again, or something's going to have to change, or the way that everybody acts and the way that everybody behaves is going to have to be different.
period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have
Damn,
not
bro.
hit their oil,
Shut
even
them
though that's
down.
the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are
Wow.
unstoppable as a
Wow.
military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control.
I would
If we
expect
see
that.
them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards.
Damn,
They have
keep
none.
them
It's
down.
very important that we
You don't
keep
have
this
the
conflict
cards.
in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year,
Oh,
7 months, and
1917.
5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam
long.
War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and
Wow.
29 days.
He's talking about the
Iraq
war on terror.
went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation so powerful, so
fucked
brilliant
up.
against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days. And the
This is a
country
filler
has been
episode? I told y'all.
eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat.
I told y'all
They were
this
the
is what's
bully of
gonna
the Middle
happen.
East, but they're the bully no longer. This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. The whole world is watching, and they can't leave the power, strength, and brilliance. They just can't believe what they're seeing. They leave it to your imagination, but they can't believe what they're seeing. The brilliance of the United States. Tonight, every American can look forward to a day when we are finally free from the wickedness of Iranian aggression and the specter of nuclear blackmail.
But when are we going to be free from the aggression of human beings in general? I feel like that's a big problem that we're facing. It's not about Iran. It's about other places too. It's about just people in general and the way that all this stuff is going, guys. We got to stop this shit and people have to evolve.
Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the cusp of ending Iran's sinister threat to America and the world. And I'll tell you, the world is watching. And when we do, when it's all over, the United States will be safer, stronger, more prosperous, and greater than it has ever been before. May God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, and good night.
You know
Okay.
what this reminded me a lot of? It's like, you know, in animes
Okay,
where
here he
like
goes.
halfway through the season, they don't have the new episode ready. So
Yeah, they go back and do some random shit or they recap or whatever.
they just condense the other previous episodes. Like they did this with Soul Leveling, for example, where they just kind of condense all of the former episodes together into like one mini episode leading up to like what's going to happen. I think that's basically what it is. That's pretty much, you know, like what we just got.
I mean, there were some updates here and there. You know, it's like at the end, they're like, next time we'll see this, blah, blah, blah. You know, like he gave some of that shit and gave a couple updates. But yeah, I mean, it was mostly just looking back on how things have been and looking back on a big recap of sorts, for sure.
Yeah, nothing, literally nothing. And I told you guys, go back to the beginning of this stream where I said for a fucking fact that nothing was going to happen. There was going to be no big announcement. There's going to be no fucking big, oh, wow, this is actually what's happening. And there's some big news.
There's a lot
It's the
that was
same
left
thing
unsaid.
we already saw. It was a recap episode. Nothing is new. Nothing is different. No new information. This could have been an email.
Right.
That's the way it is. That's what happened. This entire thing could have been an email.
Or it could have been about the emails. Wink, wink. I wish it would have been something about that too, and something about that would be addressed, but it's not gonna fucking happen.
So
What is this shit?
it was just anti-gaslighting. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Stock market tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen. Who the fuck knows? April Fools. Yep, April fucking Fools.
You know what? That
He had
is
to give the speech.
ironic.
People are saying he didn't give a good enough announcement at the start of the war. Maybe, right? I mean, I don't know. But like, you know, I would say that, you know, you could have at least made it a little bit more, you know, less ambiguous as to what you were going to announce, right? And at least you didn't announce boots on the ground. You're right. And it could have been worse. You're right. That's actually a great point you're bringing up.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it could have been worse, but Honestly, I think that there should be way more transparency and clarity from, like, the higher up people in the world or the higher up people in our government. It's especially people like the president, and there should be, like, way more communication for the average person to understand what's going on. I feel like there's not enough. You know, if they're saying that he's just now giving a speech that he probably should have given at the start of this shit, that's kinda ridiculous, honestly, especially for somebody that talks so fucking much like Donald Trump. I feel like there should be way more said and way more transparency and clarity for the American people.
Look on the bright side that he didn't announce a
Yeah, it wasn't a
further
bad
U.S.
thing.
entanglement. He
Right.
didn't announce boots on the ground.
Said a
He
few
didn't
more weeks and
announce
maybe
any
it'll be
sort
over.
of, us using nukes on Iran or something like that. So, yeah, no, that's true. And it could have been worse. It definitely could have been worse. This was just, it was a flop. It was absolutely
Underwhelming.
a flop. If I was going to rate this 1 out of 10, I would give it a 2. And the only 2 points he's getting is that you didn't announce something that was really stupid. It was an absolute, complete, 100% bona fide,
Nothing burger.
certified, total fucking nothing burger.
Oh,
That's what it
I
was.
I read his mind. I knew it. Okay, guys, so let me know what you guys think. I don't necessarily fully agree with Asman that it's a complete nothing burger. I think there were some updates that needed to be said here, but, you know, tell me how you guys think this whole thing is going to turn around, what is going to happen in the next few weeks, what's your predictions? I'd love to hear about it. And everybody, stay safe, stay open-minded, stay prepared. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.